It is so important to understand this about light and to become one with this light, because when we use the light to bring about any needed item, any physical condition changed. And who can have control over us if we can do this? Do we need fear the Illuminati? Do we need fear the government? Do we need fear the lack of money? Or someone spending too much money? Or immigrants coming to our country and overwhelming our welfare system? Do we need to fear anything such as that when we know who we are? And we know that we can create an abundance of any needed item. We have to come to this understanding, because until we do, we're going to be in fear, and we will be in hatred of those whom we deem the ones that are most threatening to our survival. We need to understand this about light. I'm going to read just a little bit more about this. In this way, man hastens the slow process of nature. He does not interfere with nature. He works with nature in a higher rate of vibration than that in which nature works in the lower order of concept. Lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. All is vibration, and corresponds to the plane or field upon which vibration acts. The planes or fields spoken of have no reference to the concentric bands or shells that surround the earth. These concentric shells or layers are ionization bands which enclose the earth and reflect back vibrations originating on the earth, but they do not impede or shut out cosmic light rays. It is through them that transmutation or creation is going on all the time. Even our bodies are transmuted from a lower to a higher condition, and we become the conscious directors of this change by keeping the thoughts and therefore the body attuned consciously to the higher vibrations. Thus we attune the body consciously to a higher vibratory rate, and we become that vibration. In this condition, the master waits. As you stand now, you are master. You are ruler over all conditions. Now you know that the glory and the consciousness of a divine creation is far above any material thought. The first step is fully and completely to control all outer activities of thought, mind, and body, with the thought always uppermost that you are cultivating the habit of perfection, the God habit, the Christ of God habit. Do this whenever you can, wherever you are, every time it comes to you during your working or resting hours. See this perfect presence within you. Get into the habit of seeing this perfect presence as your real self, this Christ of God presence. Then go a little further. See a divine white light dazzling in purity and brilliance, emanating forth from the very center of your being. See it shining forth with such brilliance and glory that it emanates from every cell, fiber, tissue, muscle, and organ of your whole body. Now see the true Christ of God standing forth, triumphant, pure, perfect, and eternal. Not the Christ of me, but your own true Christ of God, the only God, the triumphant and all-conquering Godhead. Step forth and claim this as your divine right, and it is yours. Every time you say God, know fully that you are presenting God, and you will do the world a greater service by so doing than by presenting me as the Christ of God. Remember, this is Jesus speaking these words. It is far greater and nobler to see yourself as the Christ of God, you yourself presenting God to the world and beholding God as yourself. You sit back and pray to me to intercede for you. It is wonderful that you do present me to the world as the Christ of God and recognize the God qualities presented through me. just so long as you do not make an idol or image of me and then pray to that idol. The moment you make a graven image of me and pray to that image, you debauch me and yourselves. It is well to see the ideal that I or anyone else presents. Then make that ideal your very own. Then we are not apart or separate from God as such. Man conquers the world. Do you not see the greater thing to be accomplished by standing forth one with us in God? If you cultivate this with love, reverence, devotion, and worship, it becomes a habit, and soon it is all of you, your daily life and existence. In a short time you have brought forth divinity. You are once more the divine Christ, the firstborn of God. You are one with primal spirit, energy. Actually feel, see, and take hold of this great light. Accept, declare, and know positively that it is yours. And in a short time your body will actually send forth this light. In every age and every condition, all through the great immensity, this supreme light has existed. It is everywhere. This light is life. When anything is made plain, we are enlightened regarding it. The light shines forth into our conscious concept. Soon the light of life will shine forth to your watching eye, as it has to all great ones. Many of these great ones are portrayed standing forth in a great blaze of light. Although you may not see it, this light is real, and it is life radiating from your body. Now I'm going to skip over all through these books by Baird Spalding is the words of Jesus and other different ones of the Masters, all helping us to understand that we must see ourselves as God. Here's another part where he talks about that. It is a well-known fact that the oftener you say or use the word God, knowing it to be the highest principle indwelling and flowing through you, the greater benefit you will derive from it. Allow me to repeat, our thought is you cannot say God or use the name too much. See God as creative principle flowing through you. Concentrate and energize that principle and send it out with more dynamic influence. Because of the fact that it is always flows through you as well as around you, you are able to give it a greater impetus by sending it out with the whole force of your being, impelling it outward. Man's body is the medium through which this force is transformed, and added impetus is given it in order to do a greater work and be sent forth in greater form. Oh, there's so much more to this book, but I've already read this once on my channel here. It's book 3 of a series of books by Baird Spalding called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. And so much of this that was written back in the late 1800s is very scientific, and some of the science that we are hearing today from the quantum physicists is confirming what was said back here in the 1800s. Of course, this is not new news, it's old news. It's the oldest news there could be. And I think it's very informative. It goes against the grain of people who want to believe in the God of the Bible and put man down like man weren't that God. But that's really hard for me to understand how they can think that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and how that wouldn't mean that we are God, and how Jesus was one with God, and how he prayed that we would be one with God also. And God is love, and God is light, and God is not this fearful interpretation so many people have presented to the world, and I think which contributes to people's ideas that to do harm is somehow godly, to do harm to another. And it isn't. Not even to think a bad thought about another is good, because it'll come back on us. That's just the way energy flows back to the sender. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is.